Greetings once again, pirates on the high seas. Duuz-Diz-Din, back again with One Piece. Now previously, we continued on with Garp, allied with members of Sword and members of the Marines, doing their best to rescue Kobe, as well as several of the would-be slaves they've managed to free and get on their boat, with Valo Pizarro using his island fruit to try to reach out and touch somebody, if you know what I mean. But we also got to see something very important, things that showed Kobe's character, that much like Aokiji and Garp, Kobe also trained himself with the battleship bags, deciding to train 200 times more than anyone else, because he knew he was particularly weak. And whereas many assumed that when Kobe was captured, it was simply that Blackbeard just took him and ran. But no, in order to save 800 Marine soldiers from captivity and, of course, enslavement, Kobe offered himself up in exchange. But picking back on the battle at the Beeve High Island, the injured Garp came up with a plan. He went in, attacking the skull rock formation of the Hachinosu, which showed that injuring that also injured Ivalo Pizarro, so getting his face essentially split. Not a great day. With Pizarro distracted, Kobe used his ultimate technique that we know of, the Honesty Impact, which did the same amount of damage to Ivalo Pizarro's giant hand, destroying it in the process, with Helmeppo backing Kobe and Gruss out by holding off the pirates. Gruss also created a giant net of clay in order to catch the falling rubble, and thanks to that, the three of them were able to make it onto the Marine ship in order to get away, with Garp ultimately sacrificing himself, staying behind on the Beehive Island, slowly being frozen by Kuzan, surrounded by the Blackbeard pirate. Is this the end of Garp? Or does he have a plan in mind? Hopefully we'll know at some point, as we are now returning to Egghead. What chaos has happened while we've been away? Join me as I find out, won't you? So there's two ways this is gonna go down. Either, since we actually got to see a lot of what happened to Law, Kid, and Kobe, we're actually going to skip over most of what happened on Egghead, which is shocking to me. The idea, or we're gonna pick up where we left off. The Seraphim have been loose, Vegapunk has been captured, and York is trying to become a celestial dragon. Alright, One Piece chapter 1089, hostage situation. And Egghead has been surrounded by the Marines. We also know that a Blackbeard ship was heading there too. Reader requests, a cow giving Nami a cup of hot milk as she draws sea charts at night. And the cow is giving Nami a letter from Sanji saying, "The stars are so pretty tonight, just like you, Nami. Shall we stargaze together?" And Nami hands the cow a note that says, "Thanks, saw them already." Nami, oh, that's cold. But hey, she's a busy woman. Oh, is this a new Decks of the World? We pick up in Windmill Village in the East Blue, where the people are clamoring. Really? Garp? Vanished at Pirate Island? Is that true? It doesn't say he's dead, right? Yeah, we're picking up in Makino's bar, where Whoop Slap tells the people, "He's a man of many legends. Don't worry about him." And Makino says, "Exactly, Mr. Mayor." Suddenly someone laughs, going, "Kya ha ha ha." And Whoop Slap yells, "What's so funny?" It was Makino's baby, who starts to cry after being yelled at. The mayor says, "Oh, it's just you, sorry." Makino picks up a little baby boy, saying, "You can't help but be worried about Garp, though. The little ones learned to recognize Luffy recently. You love your big brother Luffy, don't you?" And she shows Luffy's picture in the paper, and the baby starts to cheer. Meanwhile, at the Dan's house, she says, "Garp, Luffy, what do you think you're doing?" Man, I swear, that's the Dan's only role. To look at the paper and cry, the poor woman. Meanwhile, something starts to happen, as Dagra and Magra say, What the?" We then cut over to the East Blue, where the people are panicking. I guess it's Loguetown, yeah, I see the sign up there. They yell, "Eek, it's an earthquake!" In the South Blue too, a giant wave approaches some people on an island saying, "There's a tsunami on the way, get to high ground!" Is that the Kano Kingdom? People are yelling there too as a bridge starts to just kind of give way. And in a snowy area, people feel it there in the North Blue. saying it's a big one. And the narration comes in saying, "The earthquake on this day had no parallel in recorded history. It caused destruction on a vast worldwide scale." We see it in the Grand Line with Laboon. Water 7 Iceberg feels it with the other dock workers. Hina at the military base feels it. Momonosuke back in Wano. The prisoners of Impel Down saying, "What's going on, man?" People running from tsunami saying, "Climb the hill now." Even the celestial dragons and Eam feels it. The narration continues. "The epicenter was impossible to pinpoint, making it a most anomalous seismic event. Perhaps it was unrelated, but the earthquake happened just 6 days after the vanishing of the kingdom of Lelucia. The earthquake caused the worldwide sea level to rise by about 1 meter. Gee. And you see a massive hole in the sea, kind of like the one over Eni's lobby. And you have Eam listening to a report, I guess that's a marine vessel near that hole, saying, "I'm here at the remains of Lelucia Kingdom. There's no trace of the land anymore. Just an enormous hole in the sea that waterfalls are pouring into. Any further approach is impossible. There is no sign of the hole filling up." I know there have been theories that God Valley is at the bottom of where Eni's lobby is. Is it true? But does that mean that it still exists down there? Or was it destroyed? Because I can't imagine it could still exist after something like that. So the last time Eam did something like that, it had to be for God's Valley. But what does that mean? And could Eam do this more frequently? Because we only know 2 places like this. Funny enough, there was a One Piece special called Adventures in the Ocean's Naval that also kind of had like this giant hole that the sea would flow into. And I think it's the first time we actually saw something like that. But you actually saw what was at the bottom of that. I wonder if that ever has any relation. The narration continues. "It triggers the loss of several beaches around the world, as well as several islands." We cut over to the Kamabaka Kingdom, where the people and revolutionaries are yelling, "What in the world is going on here? The beach has never been flooded like this before. This tide will ebb eventually, right?" And one person says, "I was supposed to run on that beach." Eva looks on in shock. One island that's been completely submerged, with the people out in rowboats say, "The flooding's so bad we have nowhere to live. A shark might swim right into my house." And I guess some Marines are reporting, "We have reports of flooding coming in from all over the world." Meanwhile, back at Fuchsia, the people say, "It's not supposed to be high tide yet. Hey, maybe today's catch will be huge." And one person yells, "Don't you dare sail out into this." And Wolfslap looks on, worried. The narration then goes, "Meanwhile, on Future Island Egghead in the New World, a naval summons brought a nation-sized fleet that far outclasses even a buster call." And even the naval officers there on the ships outside of Egghead say, "Water levels are rising around the world? That's right. What could it mean?" And the narration then says, "The island was completely surrounded by a group of 100 ships, including 20 massive battleships. Their crews totaled 30,000 sailors." Jesus. We then see one of the mechanical modified animals, one of the Sea Kings, attacking one of the naval ships, taking a bite out of the side, with the marine officers yelling, the mecha's attacking!" And suddenly a beam of light comes through, blasting one of the monsters through the stomach. Obviously, Kizaru. Sentomaru yells out, "Hey, I told you not to attack the sea beast weapons." And someone claps back, "But they attacked us first." The narration continues. "Leading this unprecedented military force was a group of 9 vice admirals." And yeah, we see a lot of vice admirals. The only 2 I recognize are Doberman and Dahl. But then again, time skip. Who knows how many vice admirals have risen through the ranks until now. And the thing is, with vice admirals, they can range anything from a CP9 agent to pretty much an admiral themselves. And Admiral Kizaru. And we see Naval Admiral Kizaru, Borsalino, eating some ramen. In fact, it seems like many of the Marine officers are just chowing down. Kizaru then says, I guess in a call to Sentomaru, "Well, you're putting us in a rather sticky situation here, Sentomaru. Could you just surrender and come back over here? But Sentomaru says, the next time you try that, old man, we're attacking. Kizaru says, ooh, how scary. Sentomaru's eating something too. Sentomaru's on the Dendemushi, flanked by two pacifistas, saying, Punk developed the pacifista's lasers after studying your powers, and we have a flashback of that. A younger Vegapunk, a little Sentomaru, and Kizaru, who, I guess he has that one beanie we saw him with when he was a kid, and he's just shooting the laser up into the sky. Sentomaru then says, never thought you'd come to eliminate him one day. Kizaru says, studying the Void Century is a crime. Even I can't defend Sentomaru. I'm just another cog in the machine. Yeah, the usual thing of just following orders, right? This isn't a battle we want to have either. The more we destroy, the more we lose. Seems like Rob Lucci and his cohorts failed to complete their mission. Sentomaru tells him, yeah, because of the Straw Hats. And we see the pacifistas and the sea beasts lining the coast like a standoff against a marine ship. On one of the battleship, we see one of the five elders, Godhead of Defense, J. Garcia Saturn, also eating. Oh, he says to Doberman, don't let them figure out that I'm here. Doberman says, yes, sir. Saturn then says, Straw Hat... Oh, he's reading the paper. Straw Hat crew barricades itself in with Vegapunk as prisoner, eh? I like this article. Doberman says, that's Morgan's work, sir. Saturn then asks, and what is the truth? Doberman tells him, we have not received the mission complete report from CP0 yet. Given that Sentomaru is still defending the island, we can be certain that the Labo phase is currently hosting Dr. Vegapunk's Stella and 6 satellite, the 4 Seraphim protecting them, and the 10 members of the Emperor's Straw Hats crew, whom we believe to be allied with him. I love the little depictions. Vegapunk, the satellites, the Seraphim, the Straw Hats, all these S's. Doberman then says, as well as the agents in the lead force, Rob Lucci, Kaku, and Stussy from CP0. The rank-and-file Cypherpole agents appear to have been locked up in the Fabriophage by Sentomaru and his Pacifista Mark III unit. The Frontier Dome's barrier status is at 100%, meaning that nothing can get in and nothing can get out. It's been an entire day, and we still don't know what's going on in there. Saturn then says, where are the research staff and technicians who work on Egghead? Doberman tells them, they all evacuated the island yesterday. We've got the coordinates of their ships. And of course, Saturn says, and what if they know too much? Sink 'em. Doberman says, yes, sir. He then informs them, one more thing, Saint Saturn. The pirate Jewelry Bonnie the Glutton has been sighted on the island. Saturn says, Kuma's daughter. She has no more benefit to us. Leave her there. She's just a girl. Doberman says, understood. Yeah, I guess 'cause it's not like they're negotiating with Kuma anymore. Suddenly someone calls out, Kizaru, we're picking up a signal coming from Egghead. He says, oh? Person says they seem to be placing a call somewhere, and that call is to Sacred Mary Joa. Yeah, and what the person says is Mary Joa. Another Marine tells Kizaru, Admiral, that thing on your wrist, it's a block transponder stale. Kizaru says, Person says you can tap the call. Should he be doing that? We then pick up in the Hall of Power. Did we know it was called the Hall of Power? That is so cool. No one man should have the Hall of Power. Clock's ticking, I just passed the hour. The rest of the 5 elders pick up saying, hello, with the person saying, hello, this is York. I think it's Top Man Warcury, because I love that name, says, it's you. York says, hey, this is really messed up. Why are you killing me too? When you only know about the Stella's betrayal because I told you. Oh, jeez. York looks like she got beat up. So something must have happened down there that we're not aware of. Marcus Mars explains, you too are also Vegapunk, York. York says, if I had any interest in the Void Century, I wouldn't have told you about this. Mars says, how dare you? But Ethan Baron Venus Joro, again, I love that name, says, she has a point. It's good that you survived. Did CP0 reach the island? What are the Straw Hats doing now? York says, the fact that I'm the only one in contact you after last night should tell you everything. The Seraphim are here. Why is the fleet surrounding the island? Are you going to war with me? Jupiter says, York, we have changed our mind. Are you able to create the Mother Flame too? Okay, so it's something that they need repeatedly. York says, "Oh, now you'll play along. Yes, I'm not surprised you want it. I'm glad to send it. I'm glad I sent it to you." Oh, she was the one who allowed them to be able to use that. Okay. See, a lot of people suspected that one of the Vegapunks was doing some shady stuff on the side. It's just that a lot of us assumed it was Lilith. Jupiter says, "Yes, it is desired." I love how he phrases that. York says, "Desired by who?" "Anyway, the power plant that creates it is on this island. So promise me you won't hurt me or the lab." Mars says, "Understood." York says, "Then make me a celestial dragon." Mars says, "It will be done." York says, "Then you've got a deal. And the first thing I want you to do is," oh god, "come save me before Straw Hat Luffy kills me." Oh jeez. And she's just crying. "Come quick and clobber them all for me." The Gorosei, Saturn, Kizaru are all in shock as Kizaru says, "What does this mean?" As we then see that York is being held on the floor, chained down at sword point by Zoro. Usopp holding the Denden Mushi to her. Most of the Straw Hats are eating. Yeah, there's a pile of food in the corner. Man, what happened? Nami says, now I see how it all fits together. Luffy, munching down on some meat, says, "I don't, but I'm guessing we'll use her as a shield to escape." Rob Lucci's just chilling out there in the background. Bonnie says it's like a damn hostage situation. And Vegapunk says, "So that's what was going on. Huh. How did this happen?" I mean, I guess I'm glad they're okay. A little scuffed up here and there, but like, this is end of the arc stuff. Because, on the one hand, we know how most One Piece stuff happens. Of course, it was going to end up like this, but I'm just curious how they did it. How did everyone get unpetrified? What happened to the Seraphim? How did they capture York? How did they free Vegapunk? Why is Rob Lucci still apparently playing ball? Where's Stussy and Kaku? And shoot, where's the rest of the satellites? Because if Usopp was unfrozen, then Lilith should have been unfrozen too. There are way too many questions now. Also, I have to give it to Mugiwara no Goofy, because he'd been saying for a while now, "I want to get back to Egghead, because I know this crackhead's going to be doing something." Luffy's going to be doing something, and we're going to be missing out, and we're going to come back, and it's all going to be over. And sure enough, he was right. I didn't want to believe him, but he was right. We came back, and a whole bunch of wild stuff happened that we didn't get to see. I'm so curious. And I'm also curious, ultimately, what are they going to do with York? Because let's face it, most of them aren't the type to just off somebody. But I could see them just setting her adrift and just letting the Marines take care of her, while the Marines probably end up taking care of her. And they could always leave her in the custody of Rob Lucci just to secure their escape as kind of a deal for Rob Lucci being able to just get out of there because they don't really want to deal with him anymore. I'm so curious where this is all gonna go. We need to have some kind of flashback. It just feels weird, the thought of Oda abridging something like this. I mean, will we get a full explanation of everything that happened? Or is it gonna be a yada yada this happened, yada yada that happened situation? Well, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think about that massive hole that's opened up in the sea? Do you think there's others around the world that we're just not aware of? What do you think happened to the Seraphim? And were all the satellites completely destroyed? Shoot, at that point it would make sense if York also gets killed off, if all the rest of the all the rest of the satellites were just eliminated. God, I'm so curious. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Also remember to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.